Van Gogh is cool, and so are Space Marines. And so I thought, why not try to combine the two? Why not try and paint a Space Marine sort of like in the style of Van Gogh? More specifically, his very famous painting you can see here is Starry Nights. I just wondered what would that look like on a Space Marine, and well, sometimes I have ADHD, so there isn't very far from thought to action sometimes. And so I started off with a Space Marine that's been primed using a White Scout primer, and then I grabbed a contrast paint, and this one is a Killian green, and I thought that would make sort of a nice background for the Starry Night look that I was going for, just because I thought if I start out with just a pure white background, that might be a little bit difficult to match. And then I just grabbed a whole bunch of different blue colors. You can see them all here, from all sorts of different painting companies and stuff. Just all sorts of cool blue colors that I just had on hand. Because I had read somewhere that the technique Van Gogh used was called impasto, where you didn't really mix the colors as such. You just put them on very thickly on the canvas. So I thought I just wanted a lot of different blue colors, and then I'm going to use this I think it's a silicone sort of brush shaper thing used often for when you do like sculpting. Actually, it's a sculpting tool, but I thought it would be quite nice for it to be sort of useful for trying to lay the paint on a little more thickly than what I usually do with a brush. It's said, I read a couple of articles on Van Gogh's technique, and it says he often used like a really big brush or a palette knife. And I thought using a palette knife would probably be a little bit tricky on a miniature, so I thought that this silicone brush was the closest thing that I could get that also might help to imitate the style just a tiny bit. I'm obviously not a world-class painter like Van Gogh, so I mean, this is just going to be a purely for fun imitation. I'm not seriously saying that I can actually do what he did, of course. But as you can see, I just use all those different blue colors that I showed you, and I'm also using a little bit of gray and a little bit of white and black, and I just build up the layers. Really, it's really, really easy to do. It's just, I mean, you can't really go wrong with it. All the brush strokes are supposed to be clearly visible, and you can, if you don't like something, you can just put more paint on top of it, because this is also supposed to be a little bit rough and a little bit where you can see the texture of the paint. So it doesn't matter, you can put on like 20 layers of paint if you want to. There is nothing, I don't think you can actually put on too much paint almost for this sort of style or this sort of technique. And it's actually quite motivating and quite liberating, just having fun with it and just putting on as much paint as you want and not trying to get smooth blends or anything. And then I decided I also wanted to do the sort of the suns or the stars and the moon that you can see on the painting. I wanted to do that on the shoulder plates, just to break up the blue a little bit, and also just because I wanted to see if it could be done. So I grabbed those colors you can see there. I only used those colors, and I built up the layers a little bit, and I mixed in a tiny bit of blue at some point just to make sure that it didn't just stand out like really, really starkly from the shoulder plate, but actually looked like it was part of the overall sort of design or the overall painting almost. And it was just so much fun. It was really a liberating experience. Sounds kind of like a little bit pompous almost when you say it like that for a miniature painting, but it was just fun. And I don't think it took me that long. I think this whole model took me perhaps a couple of hours, which is not, I don't think that's much for a model where I had to come up with the idea, the color scheme, trying to work out the technique, trying to work out which exact colors to use and such. I don't think, a couple of hours for a Space Marine, that's not too bad. Of course, if you're going to be painting like 100 for a giant army or something, a couple of hours might be too long. But for just a fun creative paint project, I think a couple of hours is really quite doable. So yeah, my Van Gogh Starry Night Space Marine is done, and I am so curious to know, what do you guys think about this? Was it fun? Is it cool? Is it Do you think it looks hideous? All sorts of things, let me know. And especially, do you have other painters whose work you would like to see on a miniature? Let me know, both if you just have the name of an artist or if you are thinking of a specific painting, or I don't know, it might be other sorts of artworks as well. Any sort of thing, that would be really cool. I think this has been really, really fun. I don't think I'm going to do an entire Starry Nights army at all, but it was definitely a lot of fun, and I might try to well, not exactly imitate, but at least let myself be inspired by other works by Van Gogh, because this was just fun and cool. Yeah, absolutely. So let me know, and of course, as always, I really appreciate it if you leave a like, if you leave a comment, if you subscribe to the channel, of course, and also remember you can follow me as Dice and Demons on Twitter and Instagram as well, if you'd like to keep up to date with my painting projects. So thank you so much for watching this one, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!